If that growth is solid, the party's really on. And then 2027, they probably have invested in the growth of that. And so the growth really gets going.
Could you imagine thinking that XRP being up 430% now matters?
Structure supporting that. So that's kind of what's happening. You're seeing more institutions get into crypto a little bit. And that, I think, is helping to pave the way one day for a broad-based transformation in tokenization.
If you ask me in 10 years, what I see is, all financial, what I call the convergence of financial products and digitally created products. So these convergence, what I call is, all financial products that we see today will go on-chain.
I don't even know what else to say after that intro right there. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another CYPRX video breakdown. In today's video, I want to really humble everyone and present some information via reputable individuals on stage via panel discussions that have recently taken place over the past couple of weeks / months to get you guys to see that this most recent pump that we are currently living through is nothing. It is absolute peanuts compared to what is coming down the pipeline over the next consecutive couple of years. And the reason why I want to avert everybody's attention to this elongated mindset is because there are going to be so many people, because they're following the wrong individuals on the internet, that drop the ball on this life-changing wealth. Right? So in today's video breakdown, I'm going to do my due diligence. I'm going to show you guys reputable individuals on stage, talk about having a long-term mindset, and get you guys to see that we are not in a utility super cycle yet. This is just another pump. This is just another speculative pump. And I really want to bring everybody back down to earth. So we'll get into that in today's video breakdown. Again, if you're new here, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe. We're going to really jump and dive into detail, pick apart some of these video clips. But first, all right, I want to confirm this. Seeing this is so insane to me because this confirms that the researchers, the embedded individuals that are in this space that actually pump out valued content like myself, Mr. Aqua, Mr. Man, Smoke, Citizens of the Future, Tokenizer, all these individuals that have just delivered really sound, good educational information to you guys over the past consecutive 4 years. We have been right. And the craziest part is we are not even in a utility cycle yet. What do I mean by that? Look at the utility assets compared to even things like meme coins over the past month. HBAR up 489%, Algo 336%, XRP 413%, XLM 487%, Doge meme coin 171%. Not bad. Pepe 136% over the last month. Again, not bad, but still nothing compared to these utility assets over the past month, right? And so what we need to start to understand, and I'll get to this in today's video breakdown, is that eventually you have to come to terms with yourself and understand that crypto was not created for it to be speculative. It was created to solve problems and facilitate use cases to the global financial system. And we're going to confirm that in today's video breakdown via reputable individuals that have many more credentials than I myself. So you guys don't think I'm just making this up. But now that we are here at this point in time, okay, I said to you guys here in this post, well, it is time to unfollow everyone who told you, and I'm going to use utility assets in this example, but I said XRP, but utility assets are the biggest scam. Again, this is peanuts compared to what is coming, and I'm going to enlighten you all in today's video breakdown via perspectives from individuals that go way above my credentials, okay? Top 3 in December. On December 1st, 2024, XRP reached the top 3. Now, again, we need to humble ourselves. This is a massive accomplishment in my personal opinion, especially if you've been holding on to XRP for some time. But this is nothing, people, compared to what is coming. And again, you're going to have people on the internet right now that are going to be like, oh, what's your exit strategy? When are you going to sell? What price target are you looking to sell at? Understand that in the future that we are headed into, you are not going to have to sell your digital assets, especially assets like XRP, XDC, HBAR, XLM. Now, obviously, of course, I've always been the individual that says, sell out your initial investment so that the investment becomes risk-free. I personally plan on doing that, right? But we are headed into a environment where we can be our own bank. We're going to have equal access to this new financial system, just like these traditional financial players have had over the past consecutive couple of years. And that is now a known fact. If you do not know that, if you do not understand how you can utilize your digital assets to generate you passive income in the near future, then you need to wake up. You need to start studying. You need to start embracing the change, the rapid transformation in which we're living through. It does not matter if XRP is $1,000 or $1. In the future, you are going to be able to utilize your XRP in the same way, to lend, to borrow against it, to provide liquidity with it, to yield farm off of it, to stake it. All kinds of things in the future are coming to the XRPL via new integrations like the EVM sidechain and developments that are happening at a rapid pace that nobody, for some odd reason, is paying attention to. Why? Because everybody's so hyped up and so fixated on price appreciation. I get that. Trust me, it's been a long time coming, but this is nothing. And if you sell over the next, let's just say, year to 2 years, and you have no plan, strategic plan on how to survive in this digital ecosystem long term by generating wealth digitally, you will get left behind if you sell for fiat. If you sell your digital assets for fiat in this next cycle, again, like I said, I'm a very firm advocate of selling out your initial investment so that way it becomes risk-free. But don't listen to idiots on the internet that are telling you guys to sell these valuable digital assets for fiat currency back into a decaying financial system where they have been devaluing our currencies, our fiat currencies, at a rapid pace globally. Doesn't matter what jurisdiction you're in. Okay. Again, tap into the CYPRX Wealth 28 Club. If you want some free content, head over to the CYPRX playlist. There's a yield playlist with over 18 videos that explain in detail what it is that I'm talking about, to enlighten you all on how you are not going to have to sell your XRP for fiat. Instead, in the future, if you want to generate fiat, i.e. passive income, you can just take your XRP, leverage it in the DeFi ecosystem, and earn rewards, earn fees, earn passive income so that you don't have to sell your valuable digital assets. Okay. So moving on. Again, I just wanted to go on that rant because I'm telling you guys, it's so crazy seeing now that price is up, all these random individuals are coming out, making all these price targets, and people are going to start getting manipulated. Okay. So cheers to you, diamond hands. I said to you guys in this post, but let's dial in. The ride is nowhere near over. It has just begun. This move only solidifies our research and our commitment. That means that this pump is absolutely nothing compared to what will happen in the next 2 to 3 years. Now, I'm going to play some industry-leading experts' perspectives here, and a lot of them talk about a 10-year outlook. I personally don't think it's going to take that long. I think that we will start to see utility really kick in at a minimum in the next 2 to 3 years. Again, I'll back what it is that I'm saying with video clips from reputable individuals with many more credentials than I myself. All right. Double digits, in my personal opinion, for these utility assets across the board is when we truly celebrate. And I'm talking about double digits again. I've never made bullish Moonboy Hopium hype targets on any of the assets that I cover on this YouTube page. But when I share with you guys what I'm going to share with you today, you're going to understand why I'm saying this. Double digits in these utility assets is when we truly celebrate. Okay. And we will get there. It will just take time. That day might not be today, but it will come. For now, manage your risk properly, do your research, and keep some dry powder, i.e. some cash on the side in case we crash, in case we see a black swan event, in case we see a market retracement, so that way we can buy more because we are right. That's the craziest part. We're right. Everybody that was telling us H-bar is a joke, XRP is a joke, XLM's a joke, IOTA's a joke, Algo's a joke. Where are they at now? They're chasing the pump, right? Not the researchers. The researchers that have been telling you guys to dial in, to fixate your attention on utility are correct. All right. Last but not least, this last post, I said XRP is trending extremely hard, but who actually has proof and timestamps that they were telling their followers to buy sub 50 cents? All right. Here at CYPRX, we have timestamp video proof and previous video breakdowns where we were openly telling everybody XRP below 50 cents is an extremely good, valuable opportunity to capitalize on life-changing gains. Okay. Now, again, keep in mind that this is all temporary. This is all nothing compared to what is coming. This is still a speculative pump. This is not a utility pump. There are still some headwinds in front of us that we need to get through, which maybe I'll make another video breakdown on, like the Japanese yen carry trade unwinding if the Bank of Japan decides to hike rates in the near future. However, again, that's another video all for itself on its own. All right. But you guys have to understand, we need to humble ourselves and we need to really come to terms and understand that this is nothing compared to what is about to happen over the next 2 to 3 years, 10 years max. But I personally think, again, I don't agree with all these people on the panel discussions when they say 10 years. I personally think it'll happen in the next 2 to 3. Okay. So sit back, relax. I'm going to share 3 video clips back to back of reputable individuals on stage, again, from either large institutions, major organizations in the blockchain space, in the crypto space, or, payment providers. Okay. Each and every single person that I'm going to share with you guys today, even an individual, a reputable individual that works at the DTCC that used to work at Ripple is going to speak to you guys. And these are all video clips that are recent from within the last week or two, or maybe even when the last month or two. And they all talk about how we are not there yet. We are in the midst of this massive transformation, and institutions are interested, and they are starting to test, they are starting to adopt, they are starting to buy and integrate crypto into their core banking infrastructure and into their portfolios, but we are not there yet. Now, where we're at is just the beginning. This is only the foundational layer, the infrastructure layer, the bottom of what is about to happen over the next 2 to 3 years. And we have to humble ourselves and understand that, or you're going to drop the ball on experiencing life-changing wealth, because you're going to think that based off of some price prediction or some Fibonacci extension or some RSI indicator or whatever, that any of that stuff even matters when utility really kicks in. And you're going to beat yourself up when you sold XRP at $2.50. And in the next 3 years, looking back, you weren't able to get back in because the market maybe didn't pull back again. We don't have a crystal ball. And looking back, it's $10, $15, $20, $30. Okay, again, I don't throw out bullish moonboy targets, but just based off the information I'm going to share with you today, it's illogical to think that those targets could not exist based off of the amount of money from reputable individuals telling you guys that this is coming to crypto in the next, again, 10 years max. Okay, so just take a second here and listen. I'm going to play 3 video clips back to back. Each of these reputable individuals talk about this 10-year time frame, give or take, and how this transformation is going to take time. So let's humble ourselves. Take a second and listen.
Can do better to improve and to bridge the gap between. Probably we start by Mike.
Yeah, very happy to take that question. I think our personal experience is that one key success factor is a continued engagement with the regulators. So we have increased time invest significantly to explain how we feel about risk management, how we have improved, and more importantly, also leaning into the trust point. And let me tell you what I mean by that. If you just see the logic of blockchain, right, and the transparency blockchain delivers, there shouldn't be a discussion about trust, because trust is inherently embedded in the blockchain concept. Still, the application and adoption of blockchain, and also being mindful across many different things happening at the same time, we are not there yet. And I feel it's important to be vocal about the effectiveness of the risk management we deploy and constantly improve, but at the same time lean back to, and I really liked what you said on the use cases and the benefits. And I think what has started happening is that we became much more vocal on our vision, and it's a shared vision by now, on how this could work out over the next, let's say, few years, the next decade. And I feel the cross-country payment theme as a use case is highly relevant, but I would like to even dream a bit bigger and talk about asset allocation. So just imagine the opportunity that at one point in time you can move liquidity in assets back and forth from TradFi to DeFi, and you can change your asset mix and your risk profile within split seconds at lowest transaction costs with the highest speed possible. I mean, this is a massive transformation of financial markets. And I do believe that this also has a societal impact. So the latest figures we got is from the World Bank that 1.7 billion adults are.
Okay, so again, just digest what he's saying. He's talking about how we're not there yet. This is going to take some time. Again, he's talking about utility and use case, talking about cross-country, remittances and utilizing these digital assets for such things. He's talking about tokenization of real world assets, all of these things that are starting to unfold. We're starting to see institutional adoption, but they are literally just dipping their little tiny pinky toes into this market. If you think or what are we at right now? $3.4 trillion is a lot of money. Again, stick around for the entirety of this video breakdown. I'm going to blow your mind because reputable individuals on stage are telling you all that this is peanuts. So that was one video clip. This is from only a couple of weeks ago, November 7, 2024. This video only has 1,100 views, so barely any, considering that there's 560 million active crypto users, right, in this world, and billions of people on this earth. Only 1,000 people have seen this video. So again, when you're on the internet, when you're on Twitter, when you're on watching YouTube influencers, they're not the ones watching these types of videos, okay? They're not the ones picking apart reputable individuals' comments on stage to humble themselves and understand that we are nowhere near what we are going to experience in the next 2 to 3 years, all right? Moving on. So here is another individual. This is the CEO of Superstate. He is also one of the co-founders of Aave, if I'm not mistaken. Listen to his perspective. This is from only a month ago, and this video breakdown only has 144 views. Take a second here and listen.
It's not going to be next year, right? It's, I think over the next couple years,
not crypto
launch a stablecoin.
Exactly. And so it's interesting to see like this, it does look like the push is happening. This push that you're describing is happening. And so when you think about how these things start to unfold, how the gap between traditional financial markets and blockchain technology unfolds, when does, right, or to what extent are most financial rails on a blockchain?
I mean, eventually, I think a lot more, but it's going to take a long time. I mean, like, I don't want to be, pessimistic here, but it's not going to be next year, right? It's, I think over the next couple years, we have an opportunity, especially with a backdrop of, positive pro-innovation legislation and regulation, that like tokenized assets will grow substantially, where they'll grow in the type, outside of just treasuries to like a variety of different products and asset classes. They'll grow in size, they'll grow in adoption, and we'll start to finally see an ecosystem of like infrastructure around them, ways to actually trade them, ways to borrow them, ways to do all these things that like right now you really can't. I think RWAs will be very positive, but like how long until all of finance moves onto a blockchain? It's like, man, Frank, that's going to be so long in the future. Migrating systems in general is hard. Half the banks on Wall Street still have like COBOL engineers to maintain systems that were like built in 1974. And like, they still have some data on like a COBOL mainframe. It's like the pace of innovation and migration is really slow. And to some people, it's incredibly exciting. Like there's, CI.
Right. So again, not to bring the bearer of bad news, but to humble everybody. Again, that's my goal here with today's video breakdown, is to get you guys to see that what we're experiencing now with these massive gains, right? HBAR, Algo, XRP, XLM, the utility assets outperforming pretty much everything in the market. This is not the utility pump, people. This is nothing compared to what is coming. That's why we need to really stay grounded. If you want to pull profits, again, I'm not an advocate of not pulling profits. If you want to be that type of person that pulls profits this cycle, do that, right? Pay yourself, take out your initial investment, or have a separate portfolio that you treat like a day trading or a swing trading portfolio, separate from your long-term bags. But individuals, in my personal opinion, that sell their XRP before 2027 are going to miss out on some real crazy life-changing wealth. Okay. And again, you won't see that amongst the masses because what's being pumped out right now via mainstream influencers, they're trying to give you guys click-fed dopamine hits, talking about this price pump, taking profits, giving you guys predictions and all this stuff, misleading you from what is really happening. And what is really happening is a massive transformation of our financial system. Like I said, this pump that we're experiencing now only solidifies, with XRP being in the top 3, that we as researchers are right. And if that is not enough to convince you that the rest of this transformation is underway, I don't know what else will. Again, you're going to miss out on life-changing opportunities in the form of wealth creation and wealth generation if you sell yourself short by not understanding the dynamics of how much money is about to transition onto public blockchains. Okay. Again, to give you a perspective, this video breakdown where this gentleman is talking about how pretty much almost every bank right now currently on Wall Street still runs on COBOL systems. If you're not too familiar with what those are, take a second and just do some research. This video only has 144 views. So of course, no influencers are going to tell you this because they haven't even seen this video themselves, right? Take that into consideration. Moving on, here's another video clip. Now, this is a reputable individual, an ex-Ripple executive, Robbie Mitchnick. He now is the head of head of digital assets at BlackRock. Again, used to work at Ripple. And this is from June 7th, 2024, only has 730 views. So again, less than 1,000. And listen to what he says. Take into consideration his perspective as well.
The idea kind of went away and now it seems to be emerging again. But Robbie, maybe can you first kind of talk about like what you think about when you hear the word tokenization and what that means, and then also kind of discuss the shift in the financial system to being more open to tokenized markets and products.
Yeah, well, when we look at the digital asset space broadly, we put it into three pillars from a BlackRock perspective, which is crypto, stablecoins, and tokenization. We think all three of those are important. And when you look at what we've done, they kind of map across those three. Tokenization is the longest time horizon to real adoption of the three, for sure. And I think there's been some maybe overinflated expectations about how quickly or decisively this trend would play out. We're talking about a major transformation potentially of capital markets infrastructure that affects all types of entities across the value chain. That's not going to come easily or quickly, right? So we're starting to see some development that suggests that this is working, that there's client demand, that the utility of being able to hold a TradFi investment exposure in a digital asset wrapper is actually compelling to investors, certainly to some of our clients. But in hindsight, it was kind of always going to be the case, contrary to what some had thought, including myself originally, that before we would move trillions or tens of trillions in assets into this new technology paradigm, that actually first institutions were going to get comfortable with small exposures to crypto itself, understanding wallets and blockchain-based settlement and being comfortable with the risk controls and the infrastructure supporting that. So that's kind of what's happening. You're seeing more institutions get into crypto a little bit, and that I think is helping to pave the way one day for a broad-based transformation in tokenization.
Boom. I don't know what else to show people. This video is only from a couple months ago, people. He literally just confirmed everything that I said to you on stage. Who here watching this video, including myself, has more credentials than Robbie Mitchnick? Probably nobody, right? And he just told you guys that right now what we're experiencing is these institutions just slightly dipping their toes in the water, just testing out these things, realizing that they can wrap real world assets in digital asset wrappers, right? And how eventually this is going to open the door for them to onboard trillions upon, he said, tens of trillions of dollars into this space. So imagine selling XRP because you're super hyped out and your dopamine is all fixed and you've been dollar cost averaging over the past consecutive couple of years, losing patience because everybody on the internet's been manipulating you into telling you it's a scam, it's a hoax. And now all of a sudden price is up a couple hundred percentages and you're like, oh my, I got to get out before it dumps again, right? And bringing emotions to these markets right now in this day and age where we're at in the current market infrastructure is going to get you wrecked. Have no emotions. Again, if you want to sell for some profit, for some fiat to pay yourself and buy yourself something nice because you deserve it, I get that. I get that mentality. Trust and believe me. Have separate bags. Have a bag that you play around with intraday or you take some profits on, but then have those assets that you are going to hold for 2030 and beyond. Because that is when the real money is coming, people. We're literally heading into 2025. That means we have 5 years until 2030 agenda, right? The United Nations Global Development Goals, right? Okay. Oh man, so many people are going to get wrecked because they're not paying attention. This video breakdown only has 730 views. So you can imagine that your favorite crypto influencer, your bullish moonboy hypist, he's not watching this stuff. Okay. He's not watching this stuff. So you heard that directly from Robbie Mitchnick. I'm sure his real name is Robert, but Robbie Mitchnick there, right? Ex-Ripple executive as well. Now, I told you guys reputable individuals on stage. Here is another individual. This is from 2 weeks ago. Duncan Chiu, hopefully I'm pronouncing his name correctly. He is from the HKSAR Legislative Council. So he is a legislator in this space. And now let's get into the transition of kind of elongating our perspective on how much money is about to come in. Because he here in this, again, this is coming from a legislator, literally talks about how traditional finance, all the money, everything is going to come on chain in the next 10 years. Again, like I said, I personally don't think it's going to take 10 years. I think they're just saying that to protect their ass on stage. I'm looking at maybe 2 to 5 years max, which puts us at 2030. From like 2027 to 2030 is when I think a lot of this stuff is really going to start to kick into gear. What we're seeing now is just speculation. Okay. Take a second here and listen to this legislator tell you the same exact thing.
Thank you, Vince. Thanks for the introduction. I'm happy to be here and share with you all. Good morning. And yeah, as Vince said, I'm the legislator, at Electrical. We have a functional constituency, 30 members representing different sectors. So one of them is tech and innovation, which is me. So, anything related to tech, I sort of, jump in and, give my view. So before joining Electrical, actually, I've been a tech investor for 20 odd years. So I invest globally. So, when we're investors, we look at the deal, we look at the team, we sort of, the first thing we think is these technology or what these guys are doing, what is it going to be in 10 years, right? Because we want to have return in 10 years. And we study technology. So when I become a legislator, the first thing is when we legislate against something, the first thing we see is how big is the market? What is it going to be in 10 years? So in terms of Web3, you all know that, Hong Kong, we have a lot of initiative. If you ask me in 10 years, what I see is, all financial, what I call the convergence of financial products and digitally created products. So these convergence, what I call is, all financial products that we see today will go on chain. That's one thing. The other thing is
that is coming from a legislator in this space. He literally just said word for word, all financial products will come on chain in the next 10 years. So again, I don't think it's going to take 10 years. I don't want anybody to think I'm pumping out pessimistic perspectives because I'm not. I'm just trying to humble you guys to understand that what we're seeing now is nothing. It's nothing. This is nothing. This shouldn't excite anybody. Like, I get it. It's cool. It's fun. Hurrah, right? Yay, we made it. Top 3. I get it, right? But this is nothing. This is absolutely nothing if what he's saying comes into fruition over the next 10 years. And again, like I said, I don't think it's going to take 10 years, but just based off of what he said, if all of traditional finance comes on chain, that is so much freaking money. And you can assume that digital assets and reputable organizations in this space like Adara, Stellar, Ripple, Algorand, they're all going to take a percentage of that. 110%. We're already right on that aspect. We can see it happening behind the scenes through partnerships, through networks, through all these collaborations, through all these tests. We can see it. We're not stupid. The researchers have been right this entire time. Okay. It's just a matter of when. It is not a matter of if anymore. Don't sell yourself short. So now let's get into perspective on how much money all the money is. Okay. And again, I personally honestly think that this isn't even scratching the surface because who really truly knows the numbers? But let's listen to some reputable individuals. This is Paul Brody, head of global blockchain leader at EY, again, a major consulting firm, telling you that a lot of these trillions of dollars is going to come onto crypto, and listen to some of the numbers that he projects. By the way, to take your attention down to the bottom, the views, look at how many people have watched this video. This has 483 views. When we shared this to our private CYPRX research Discord channel, it had maybe 10. This is from 6 months ago and still doesn't even have over 1,000 views. Take this into consideration when you're listening to your bullish moon boys deliver you guys targets in the short term, manipulating you into selling early when none of this money that he's talking about here is even here yet. Number one, because there isn't even regulations that clear the path for this to come into fruition. Just take a second and listen to what he says. This is mind-boggling.
This part of the conversation is called the Great Liquidity Reservoir, and I'm going to struggle to convey just how much capital there is behind this regulatory dam, because the numbers are just monumental, right? How much money is there? Well, let's start with the most liquid of the liquid, right? Bank deposits, stocks, and bonds. $400 trillion, right? Certainly more than my current retirement nest egg, and plenty of money to buy you a nice place in central London or San Francisco, right? 400 trillion. There's another 379 trillion in real estate, right? Gold is 13 trillion by itself. And then you get to the entire crypto ecosystem is like 2.5 trillion, right? I'm not going to say all of this money is going into crypto, but quite a lot of it will end up in crypto, and a huge amount of it is going to end up in tokenized digital assets.
Right. So you guys heard that. That is coming from someone with many more credentials than I myself. This is from the global blockchain leader at EY. He just said to you guys 6 months ago that a portion of this money is going to come into crypto. Think about that. He just literally named off over $600 trillion. So just keep that in the back of your mind when we get into listening to Sergey from Chainlink, where he talks about even if we just get 10% or 15% of that money, how massive this is really truly going to be. Okay. But before we get into that, one of the reasons why I don't think that this is going to take 10 years, like all these people are saying, to give you guys an optimistic perspective, is because what EY leader just said, Paul Brody, he said the great liquidity reservoir, and that what's holding all of this money back is regulatory clarity. Well, let me take your attention back to this individual here, that legislator from Hong Kong. And here he goes on to talk about at 9 minutes and 40 seconds that in the next 8 to 12 months, regulations will be clear for these financial institutions to come on board, or there'll be a lot more legislation in place, and they'll be wrapping legislation up. So just take a second here and listen. This is why I don't agree with these individuals when they say it's going to take 10 years. I think it'll take 2 to 3, 5 years max. So just take a second here and listen.
And with our regulatory regime, what we've done so far, people will say Hong Kong starts late. Yeah, we actually start quite late. We haven't actually have a clear attitude towards digital assets in Hong Kong. But a lot of these companies were started in Hong Kong. We all know that a lot of the Web3 native companies were started in Hong Kong without government intervention or a clear regulatory roadmap until 2022. So it's only, you can see in the news that it's only 2 years. It's only been 2 years since the financial secretaries in 2022 issued a statement on virtual assets that we welcome, and the asset is here to stay, and we should explore, Hong Kong, what we can do. So within these 2 years, what we have done is we've done the licensing regime at LegCo for VA virtual asset exchange. So we issued 2 license, OSL hash key, and we now have 11 deemed license applicants. I hope, Financial Secretary has also mentioned, I hope we will have these full license issue ASAP. So there will be a few more VA exchange. And we have issued products led by the government. So the government should be the pioneer. If we trust tokenization, we should try it ourselves. So the government issued a green bond, which is 800 million Hong Kong dollar. I think there will be more different items led by the government initiative to issue tokenized financial products. So we can try out different things and show the market what it is, and we should build up the broker-dealer mechanism, the regime, who can buy, who not to buy, what to, whether this is for institutional, that is for retail investors. These are things we have to build up here. And apart from the VATP, We also have a sandbox in the stablecoin. I'll touch on these later, but this is only what we've done in 2 years. And give us another 12 to 18 months, possibly we'll wrap up all the legislations. I'll touch on this later.
Okay, so he just said, give us another 12 to 18 months and we should wrap up legislation. So just take that into consideration where we are at now and take into consideration what Paul Brody just said. Paul Brody just told you guys that what's holding all of this money back, this hundreds of trillions of dollars, is legal clarity. It's legislation. It's literally regulatory requirements that these financial institutions don't yet have in place. You just heard a legislator say in the next 12 to 18 months that regulatory clarity is coming. And so imagine selling before that. What? Why would any smart investor in their right mind do that? Again, it would be most likely because you've been manipulated into thinking that now is a good time to sell because we're up a couple hundred percentages. And like I said, I get that. If you are up in your portfolio and you have the ability to take out your initial investment and completely ride the rest of this wave risk-free, I'm an advocate of that 100%. If you want to pay yourself, get yourself something nice, sell some of your digital assets for some fiat to go pay off some debt or buy yourself a car or a house, whatever. I get that. But don't sell all of your assets. Don't sell all of your assets before this money comes, because you are going to beat yourself up. Just like people that were knocking XRP when it was trading at 50 cents for freaking 3 years, telling everybody it's a scam. They don't want to admit it right now, but they are 110% beating themselves up that now XRP is trading above $2.60 and they have to buy it now if they want it in their portfolio at $2.60. Don't be that person. And 3-5 years from now that looks back and says, dang, I was holding 10,000 XRP, but I sold 5,000 of it because I watched some bullish moonboy target on the internet and they told me that this was the top. And now I'm 3 years later into the market and $5 trillion more on top of what's already here has come into the market. Okay. You don't want to be that person. Do your research and understand what is happening. This is the transformation of global wealth. Okay, this is not some game. This is not some get rich quick scheme. This is only for the people that understand the monumental amount of capital and liquidity that is still locked in traditional finance that is coming to public blockchains, and it will come. It is a matter of time. It is not a matter of if, it is a matter of when. Okay, and I'm trying to show you guys that as my followers. In all this hype, I'm trying to get through the noise and show you guys reputable individuals. I'm not waking up in the morning. I say this all the time. I don't wake up in the morning. I'm like, I'm just going to deliver a whole bunch of perspectives and opinions to my followers today based off of what I feel. No, I do research. I watch these panel discussions that nobody else watches. And I try to bring this to y'all's attention so that you don't get manipulated into believing whatever the mainstream has fixated their attention on. You now are tapped in to what these legislators are talking about, to what these people with credentials that work at BlackRock, that used to work at Ripple, like Robbie Mitchnick, are talking about. And this is all updated information. This is not some make-believe hocus pocus hype. This is happening. And you will drop the ball if you give in to the manipulation on social media via these influencers that are telling you because XRP is $2.60, it's a good place to sell. Okay, ain't wrong. You should never want to sell your XRP if you know the power of it. If you know what you hold, you see all these Twitter spaces on the internet that are like, know what you hold, right? Sell when XRP is $10, $30. Why on earth, if you know what you hold, would you ever sell any of your XRP for fiat? Makes no sense, because again, like I said, if you want fiat in the future, okay, you're going to be able to take your XRP and literally go and lend, borrow against it, provide liquidity with it, stake it to some degree. Again, I don't know how they're going to facilitate that. Wrap it, do all kinds of things with it in the DeFi space and earn passive income. You are never going to have to sell your digital assets if you know what you're doing. But again, people don't. They don't. They come into this space and they think it is just some speculative get rich quick scheme. And I'm telling you guys, man, I hope that none of my followers fall victim to that stuff. And I'm trying to steer you guys in the right direction. So moving on. Okay, let's get into another perspective. Archax, we already know they partnered with Ripple most recently. Well, this is an individual talking from Archax. This is only from a year ago. And this video breakdown only has 678 views. Listen to what she says about how much money is about to come on chain. Take a second here and listen.
This chart won't be a surprise to anyone on the call today. It really tries to capture the mammoth size of the market opportunity addressing more than 1,700 trillion in assets, which are likely to become digital. Digitization of all the world's assets.
$1,700 trillion worth of assets. And you just heard this individual from RChax, whom is partnered with Ripple, just said that this is all likely to come on chain. Oh my God. Could you imagine thinking that XRP being up 430% now matters? Imagine that mindset. And I know there's people out there that are like, oh my goodness gracious, guys and gals, y'all gotta just tap in, because we are for real experiencing a once in a lifetime opportunity. And because people don't know how to navigate this digital ecosystem strategically and maturely, taking a risk-based approach, separating their portfolios, distributing their wealth now in different areas so that way they can survive long term, because you're not a part of the right communities that are teaching you this stuff, you are gonna get wrecked. You're not ever gonna experience this, because you're gonna sell early, you're gonna get manipulated, you're gonna get shaken out, especially if the market crashed again. You're gonna get fearful, whatever. Again, when you bring retail emotions to this market, that's when you start to mess up your portfolio. That's when you start to mess up your life-changing wealth. Be robotic, do your research, and base your opinions and your decisions off of logical, sound research, and you will survive, okay? Last but not least, let's get into this. Sergey Nazarov, hopefully I'm pronouncing his name correctly, co-founder of Chainlink. Give me a second, my computer froze. He goes on to talk about too much compute power. I'm dropping too many gems. The elites try to cut the feed off, you know? I'm dropping way too many gems for you guys right now. Hopefully I'm back. If I am back, then what we're going to get into is a video clip from Sergey, and pretty much what he's talking about is, again, how this is going to take time. He gives a perspective. This is, again, why I don't think it's going to take 10 years, because Sergey in this video clip says it's going to take maybe 2 to 3 max. He puts us in like the 2027 time horizon, which I think is very realistic. I think that if you're not thinking at least till 2027 and beyond, you're going to get wrecked. 2027 is when I think things are really going to start to kick it into gear. But then last but not least, I want one key takeaway from this. What he says is, again, crypto is not meant for speculative hype. It was meant to solve problems. It was meant to facilitate use case and real world utility. And so to full circle this, now that we're at the end of this video breakdown, sorry that my thing cut off. I do truly apologize. But I said to you guys that this is nothing. This is not the utility pump. This is not real world asset tokenization on a granular scale, public blockchains, trillions of dollars coming on chain yet. Okay. This is still just a speculative pump. Keep that in mind moving forward into the future. Have a long-term perspective. Join a community of like-minded individuals, whether that's ours or many others out there, because don't get me wrong, there's some other good communities out there, but a community that will keep you in the loop, that will keep you level-headed, that will constantly deliver research and fundamentals and good technical analysis to you guys, so that way you can survive to experience the trillions of dollars that are going to come on chain. And if you don't, again, teach his own. If you want to try to survive these markets on your own without a community backing you and supporting you through all this, so be it. I salute you for that. But again, your survival statistics and your ability to survive, your percentages start to decrease when you try to do this on your own. Okay, so just take that into consideration. So let's play these video clips real fast from Sergey. Listen to what he says here about 2027 and beyond, and how, again, these markets were not meant to facilitate speculation, and instead were meant to facilitate real world value and utility.
So maybe to conclude, if you were to make any predictions on what timeline do we see a lot of these things happening at scale, how far out is that from your perspective? So this year we're already on production with things like BlackRock and Fidelity's on production using us, and Templeton's on production. So you already see a lot of this really key part of the capital markets on production. I think all of their goals, in line with all those digital asset employees I just told you about, is to scale that. I know they're trying to scale that. I know they're looking for more sources of, DeFi money, crypto bro money, all this money, crypto VC money, whatever. And I think they'll be moderately successful at that. So you'll see a moderate amount of scaling of those kind of asset management folks that came in early during next year. And I know that a number of institutional users are starting to go to production next year that we're working with, and that, we're in the process of helping get ready for that. So I think you'll see early production of the institutional side next year. And then once they go to production, the question will naturally be, okay, we're live with this thing. We have this institutional grade, tokenized fund with like a minimum of 20 million from another institutional buyer on some L2 we made or whatever. How do we scale that? How do we turn like we did it, we launched it, guys. Your ass is now on the line to make it a success. Hope you can do that, or else you'll probably get fired. Welcome to banking. So then the next year, they're going to have metrics of like, okay, we launched the thing you wanted to launch last year. Like, what happened? So 2025, they launched institutional stuff. 2026, they look at like the numbers on that growth. If that growth is solid, the party's really on. And then 2027, they probably have invested in the growth of that. And so the growth really gets going. So that.
Right. So again, he just broke down for you how he thinks all of this is going to go. They're dipping their toes in the water starting now. And in 2025, 2026, they're going to take a step back and say, okay, was what we did the past 2 years profitable since we've been involved heavily? Yes. Okay. Then he said 2027, that's when things really start being revamped and they start coming in heavy once they've confirmed the infrastructure is laid, dipping their toes in the water with a couple $1 million is profitable. Then they bring all the money. So that's why, again, I'm trying to show you guys split perspectives. General perspective that this is the pump that we're seeing now is not the utility pump. That is coming over the next 2 to 3 years. I don't agree with the perspective that this is going to take 10 years, but I'm still trying to get you guys to see that what we're seeing now is nothing compared to what is coming. Then I tried to dial it back a little bit, give you guys a little bit more of an optimistic perspective, show you all how Paul Brody said one of the main things that's holding back the liquidity reservoir, i.e. over $600 trillion worth of capital, is regulatory clarity. We heard the legislator from Hong Kong say that regulation is going to come into fruition 100% in the next 12 to 18 months minimum, which lines up with exactly what Sergey just said to you guys. 2027 is when all of this stuff really kicks into gear. Okay. So I hope that I just was able to full circle that for you guys and get you to see that when I tell you all on Twitter or when I make a video and I say, I think it's going to happen in 2027, I don't just wake up out of bed in the morning and I'm like, oh, I'm going to tell everybody 2027. It's because I'm doing this research and it's because I'm listening to these reputable individuals on stage say these things and they have not been wrong. If you guys watch these videos that nobody else is paying attention to, they tell you all of this stuff. You want to know why? One of the many reasons I was buying crypto back in November 2022 when FTX collapsed, it's because I watched a Frankfurt blockchain school, I believe it was, panel discussion back in 2022 of an individual representative from a bank in Germany say that the FTX collapse is an opportunity to capitalize on discounted prices that we have not seen since 2019, 2018 timeframes, right? And when he said that, I was like, hold up. So if the banks aren't fearful right now, but all of retail is, we should be buying. And again, it paid off because the crypto market bottomed out the same month that FTX collapsed when everybody else was fearful at $750 billion. And we'll probably never go back to $750 billion ever in our lifetimes. Okay. Missed opportunity. Because again, people can't see the bigger picture. The bigger picture, again, considering this video only has 241 views and was uploaded only a month ago, is that now is not the utility pump. The bigger picture is that this is most likely going to take another 2 to 3 years to really materialize. But when it does, you will know, because these little tiny 400 percentages, 500 percentages, 100% increases, these $2 price targets, these 50-cent price targets on HBAR, on XLM, they're nothing. They're nothing compared to what is coming. Last but not least, I'll leave you guys with this clip of Sergey saying that crypto is not meant for speculation and hype. It is meant for real world utility and value.
And it actually, I think, helps the crypto industry grow into what I would see as its full potential, which isn't just more cryptocurrencies, isn't just more meme coin, let's pump that fund meme coins until we drop. It's like, how does blockchain technology power the way the world works? Right? Like, let's not forget what we're doing here. We're making technology that will power how the world works. That's what this is supposed to be about, right? It's not supposed to be like speculative funhouse time. That's a nice thing, and it gets a lot of money into the ecosystem for people to build things. But I'm not sure if that's what, I signed up for 14, 15 years ago.
Casino is not the goal.
Yeah, that's nice, right? It's like there's a lot of value, and it attracts usership and attracts people to build early versions of things. It funds great projects. It gets things going. But like the point is, blockchain technology powers how all value is created, managed, and transacted globally, right? Like it's not about, hey, we're in this nice cottage industry worth $2 trillion, which is a great cottage industry. Like it's like maybe the biggest cottage industry ever. Like, wow, what a nice cottage. That's like the nicest cottage I've ever seen. But that's not the point, right? The point is, how does this become the way the world works? That's at least what I'm working on.
Amazing. Right. So I'll end it there with that full circle to show you guys that right now what we're experiencing, if you took away anything from this video breakdown, it is that what we're seeing now with these bubbles, right? These couple of percentages, and I say couple, right? 500% on H-bar is lovely. I get it. Trust me, especially if you were buying at 4 cents like we were here at CYPRX. XLM, 525%. It's lovely if you were buying at 9 cents like we were here at CYPRX. XRP, 49 cents. We were buying XRP. It's up 427%. It's lovely. Don't get me wrong. These gains are nice, but these are nothing compared to what is happening when the great liquidity reservoir that Paul Brody was talking about is lifted in terms of hundreds of trillions of dollars coming on public blockchains once the regulatory clarity is embedded and set in place. So my goal here was to show you guys that now is the time to humble yourselves, really figure out how you're going to survive long-term in this space, because these short-term price appreciation gains that we're seeing, they're nothing compared to what's coming for the researchers and the individuals that are pioneers in this space that really truly understand the grand value that is about to come on chain over the next consecutive couple of years. So with that being said, again, many blessings to you guys. Don't forget that now is the time that you should be doing research on how to get your digital assets working for you. Over in the CYPRX Wealth 28 Club, we have a detailed course for you guys taking you from A to Z on how to embed yourself in DeFi, how to get educated on it, how to start utilizing your digital assets to earn you passive income. Because again, in the future, we are headed into an environment where you're not going to have to sell your XRP, your XLM, your HBAR. If you want fiat, if you want stable coins, you want money, you're going to be able to earn passive income with your existing digital assets by leveraging them in the DeFi ecosystem. But in order to do that, you need to understand a strategy. You need to understand risk mitigation. You need to understand how DeFi even works and how you can go about doing that. So educate yourself now. Head over to CYPRXtrading.com, tap into the Wealth 28 Club. We'd love to have you on the team. Many blessings to you guys. As always, please be cognizant. Please be aware out there. Be careful the information that you're gathering. Again, all the info that I share with you here today, each video, the highest viewed video that we watched today has 1,100 views. That goes to show you that the information that we are pumping out here at CYPRX, it's not mainstream. This isn't the stuff that all the rest of the influencers are tapped into. It's not, right? We're showing you guys the back end stuff that nobody wants to take the time to pay attention to and watch these hour-long video clips just to get tiny, short 30-second gems. But these gems matter. They matter because we are headed into a digital future where all these opinions and these perspectives from these mainstream influencers are eventually going to go away and deteriorate. And the researchers that have been pumping out content to you guys, showing you all that this massive transformation is taking place, is going to be what really truly matters in 5-10 years from now. So many blessings to you guys. As always, be cognizant, be aware. If you guys are watching this as a recording on YouTube, do me a favor, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe. I couldn't appreciate the, just camaraderie and the support that you guys have given the CYPRX platforms in the year of 2024. We're going to be nailing it and killing it again in 2025 for you guys. As always, I will see you all in the next video breakdown. You guys all have a good rest of your day and enjoy the rest of your week.